All right, so I thought I'd talk a little bit about how to choose a new direction in life and actually go forward and through with it. Because I think a lot of people right now are really struggling with this idea because there's always this new theme of the week. There's always something going on that this week is just going to loop you back into the matrix, whether it's politics, whether it's Bitcoin going down or stocks going up and down, or it's these new data centers and environmental catastrophic events of that, or it's always some new thing. It's like Monday starts the initiation loop for the next theme of the week, and then everyone just goes down this tunnel, and then here you are not designing your dreams or your reality at all, and then just waiting for the next week. And every Friday or Saturday night, you just go drinking or go to the bar, and like that's your life. And so I think a lot of people right now are in this cycle, and probably a lot more than usual. I see it and I hear it all the time. Even videos on YouTube here, people are saying, I want a new life, I want a new reality, stuff like that. And I think it first begins with like one of the most easiest things that you can do, which is you have to stop associating yourself with the mainstream narrative. Like it has to be completely deleted from your mind as a reference that you can go back to even think about considering or caring about. And that's kind of the whole point, I think, of reality designing. It's not the sense that like you want to ignore the world, like the things out there aren't like being computed in your reality, so therefore they don't exist. Like purely we're on like a mainframe in this reality where the things do exist somewhere. It's just, I've been through so many different avenues in my life where nothing bad has actually technically happened, even though the bad things have been occurring around me, they never influenced me. And I've now realized enough to realize, wait a sec, it's almost like it never actually even happened because it still didn't affect me. And so I think that there's this kind of grand scheme to take people's mind and kind of link them up to the hive mind neural network in reality and get you all looped up in the waves to think that, oh man, life is really going to go bad for me if I like think this next thought, or if I have this idea, if I follow this thing through. There's already this pre-computed thought narrative, mind line, that is there going to be right there to intercept your action. You know, something's influencing you like from your inner self that is like some underdeveloped or unhealed part of your trauma or whatever. And I think for a lot of people, this is true. There's something about who you are as a person that you're not yet developed enough to feel and realize that, hey, you know, I should be more further along, and to allow that voice to keep on getting you through the next challenge. And we're unable to access certain lessons or rules that we need to learn because there's fewer opportunities amidst there actually being tons of opportunities. It's kind of like what people are talking about when they're saying like America is like fucked or whatever, right? It's like there's no opportunities, but yet certain people are thriving. And I think that's all part of the narrative too, you know, how there's this sense about life of how I can't actually reach my goals, but other people can. And I think for a lot of people right now, that's the mindset shift. Like that's the pattern, that I'm the thing which can't actually fit along with the rest of the narrative because there's something wrong with me. And that's like a really common thing to feel, I think, when you're growing up, is to feel like the world around me is way more simple and at the same time complex in its own ways, but I'm an even more complex factor that has to be solved or figured out or curated or made better. And there's multiple versions of myself that have to keep on growing even beyond that before I can fully let go to the next thing after that. That's kind of the spiritual crisis, I think, of growing up in a way where you feel as though there's always this next version of me that then will be ready for the actual thing I really want to do. Because that thing I really want to do is actually a few more versions out from the next healed version of me. You know what I mean? So when I was kind of growing up or whatever, I really felt and thought that that was actually how it worked. It's like different like levels of your architecture of your system allowed for certain like keys, and at each key and each level allowed certain principles or activities to be unlocked, like you were your own game or whatever. And I'm not saying that that's like particularly not true, but at the same time, the more I've gone through life and I've realized that it's all about choosing what direction you want to go in life. It's not necessarily about following a system, more it is about just following your intuition and your guidance mechanism to determine what is the next thing you want to do, and reducing all the friction in your mind to actually going and doing it. So for instance, for me, I'm going to be traveling. Basically, I'm moving out of Austin pretty much as soon as our lease ends up. And I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm probably just going to do some Airbnbs, whatever, but I have no idea. And I think that when you go into something where you have no idea, you'll come to realize that the ideas will come along the way. Isn't that the whole point to like life and reality of how you're dynamically regenerating the game right in front of you? So a lot of people, they feel as though they need to have things figured out now. You need to have the plan. What's the plan? Boop, boop, boop. And it's not really about having the plan per se. More so it's about how can you go in the direction you want and allow it to unfold in such a way where you make room for the plan that already is going to be in the first place, just evolve. Because certainly you've had to go through your life to realize enough things to kind of understand that certain things feel like they're just meant to happen when you allow for them to actually happen, which is the key distinction between design versus creation, and why I have kind of like some beef or whatever with the Create Your Reality crew, because you don't create your reality. You design your reality based upon the materials that you're given. I don't create anything about this. I can't even really control my breathing to a certain extent because there's this animatronic mechanism that makes us all alive that none of us have really real control over. So we're not even designing the very basis of who we are. It's just, you just live your life and you figure things out the way and you just kind of put things where you think it should be in order to allow the next thing to come in. So when it comes to like choosing the direction that you want to go in life, man, it's so simple because all you have to do is determine what are the motivations behind what are you trying to move away from. And will moving away from that and then moving to the new thing resolve that inner issue? Or do you genuinely just want to move in that direction because you're free enough to realize that you don't have to be bounded by the things that you can't control? So many people, they want to move in a new direction, but really it's like they just want to move away from the part or the feeling that they have inside of realizing like some greater pain that they're in. And so they think the new thing is just going to fix it, when in reality, it's just kind of you that everywhere you go, you just find yourself everywhere. And so you can't really fix anything without resolving the inner issue. So it's all about kind of knowing the difference between like the mechanism that's driving you versus the mechanism that is guided through ambition or curiosity. And when you understand that balance and know which is which, then you don't really have to be explained anything else. That's kind of like the whole point, to realize the difference between what is almost like the real you and what's the artificial you. The artificial you is all the patterns, all the traumas, all the pains, all the, the whatever the fuck. And the real you is just the thing that you want to do. It's really as simple as that.